Welcome History 100 students to this video. My name is Sarah Davidson Squibb. I'm a librarian at our UC Merced campus, and I'm going to be sharing with you today how to get started exploring primary source databases for your course. And what I want to accomplish today is to really introduce some of those databases, do a little bit of comparison to how those might be different from some of the databases that perhaps you've already used. And as we get started, I also want to provide a little bit of context before we go into the databases by sharing some information about archives and archival terms. And I'm going to reference some of that as we go into the databases. So to get started, I am going to take us over to our library guide for your course, which you've already been directed to. My contact information is just here at the top. I'm going to click on About Primary Archival Sources to get us started today. A little bit about our information environment. You're going to be focusing in this course initially on locating some primary sources, and we have a lot of primary sources available in digital collections or online databases. And fortunately, more and more primary sources are being digitized and made available in an online format. However, most of these are going to originally be residing in an archives or a special collection, and then from there they're going to be digitized and perhaps made available in one of these collections. On the guide, I've just put a little information about this and noted that archives are collections that have rare materials, first-hand information, often called records, and they may be in various forms. It could still be a book, it could still be an article, it could be some sort of report or telegram, diary entry, it could be an image, etc. So I've just put that on the guide. And as we scroll down, I've also mentioned some archival terms and concepts. Archives are organized in a specific way, and a FONS is a collection of records originating from the same creator. And that creator could be an individual. Oftentimes it's an organization or an institution. And as we go into some of these archival collections that are available digitally, we are going to sometimes see creators mentioned. We aren't actually going to see the word FONS, but we're going to see those collections of records. And then I just put an image in here about what that level of arrangement could be at an archive. So you would have the FONS. Often they'll use the word series, and we will see that sometimes in the databases. There could be subseries, files, and then specific items in that collection. A series can also be held in one or more folders, and we may also see the language of folders used. This is probably going to be a little bit challenging to see on the video, but this is an image from a library at Boston College where they have Tip O'Neill congressional papers, and they're storing these papers in these boxes in folders. And they actually have some typing on them, but written on them they also have a series number that's kind of faint on here, and a sub-series number. So they're using that archival organization. And then below this, I just mentioned the concept of provenance or custodial history. So the idea that archives also really keep records together that are from the same collection rather than separating these things out. And then with an archives, normally you will have some sort of finding aid or collection guide. Again, this isn't going to be so pertinent for us today in this demonstration, but I did want to show, for instance, a collection guide that was actually created at our library for UC Cooperative Extension records. And this finding aid or collection guide points to online items. So fortunately, this collection has a lot of online items, but it gives a description of what's really available in this collection. And over on the side, you're going to see more details about that. And if I click on the PDF, this is just a 56-page document about that full collection. So things like who were the sources, and if we skip around, you're also going to see on here something about the organization of these files, that they're put in different boxes and folders. And these would help individuals who wanted to come to the actual archive and locate specific items if they wanted to see the original in person or if something wasn't available online. So that's just a little bit of context for archives and primary sources. Let me get back to this page. Oh, one last thing that's going to be important and that I'll mention more than once is metadata. Metadata can really just be defined as data about data, or we're going to see it as information used to describe something. And when we're in these online collections, we're going to see a lot of metadata where a document or a record or something else is going to be described with additional information. And that's really meant to help us figure out what is this item about. And it's often used to help us when we're searching and browsing in a digital collection.